welcome to the empowered conversations
Mm,
that we're about to have for you and also for us.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a win-win.
I'm Elijah, one of your hosts. And yeah, can you share a little bit about you and the journey that brought you here today?
Whew, to this couch. Stephen Esteban Namavatara Sunderhouse. That is my name. My journey started in West Virginia. And West Virginia by way of Florida, by way of Colorado to California. Currently living here in beautiful Tulum, Mexico. And I feel as if this place chooses you to be here, to spend time, to discover more about yourself, to show you mirrors and how you handle those mirrors and how you want to face and interact with yourself. It's been a long, fun journey, however.
So what was like a pivot moment that would have put you more in the frequency of who you are now than who you thought you were going to be?
Okay, so I suppose I'll start at the earlier end of this. So there was this wedding in Playa del Carmen, Sandals Resort, all inclusive. I had come to that in PDC, and 5-day wedding, enjoyed it, spent time in Playa, was partying, all sorts of fun substances and alcohol, and made my way down to Tulum on that same kind of frequency, still partying. A lot of people left, and here, have this, we're leaving, we can't take this. Like, oh, okay, cool, I'll have it. Get down here, still have some of those supplies. And I would say, I think it was the third day I was in Tulum. I had gone to the ruins and had this really beautiful experience. Kind of one very similar, not similar, sorry, unfamiliar that I've never had before. And I had known there was going to be like a lot of beautiful energy there. So the person I was going with was like, hey, I'm going to meditate here. Like, if you care to join, please do. Well, what do you mean you're going to meditate? How long are you going to meditate? Where are you going to meditate? I was like, well, those are two questions I don't have answers to. I'll know when I know, and I'm just going to sit down and dissipate, right? So I find this beautiful cliff ledge, and I step over these little ropes that kind of keep you out of certain places, but there was shade and it was a really hot day. So I ended up sitting there meditating. Couldn't really tell you the exact duration, and I'm panning from kind of right to left, just looking over the beautiful Caribbean. And then as I look left, I lock eyes with an iguana. And then instinctively my body just, I'm like, what's up? And then I hear this channel back, like, how much, dude? And I'm just like, whoa, 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 whoa. What just happened? I feel as if it was my, rational mind being like, you can't talk to an iguana. And then this like spiritual side of me is like, you just did. So I'm like, all right. And then I just continue eye contact. I'm like, how are you? He's like, I'm good, man. You? And again, I'm just like, yo, what just happened? I'm fighting this mind of that you can't do that. You can't do that, right? And I'm like, well, you did. And rattle off one more question, another response. And I'm just like, what the fuck? My mind is telling me I cannot speak with an iguana. And just as my mind's telling me that for the third time, what does this little fella do? He starts doing the head. I shoot up out of my, seated position, and I'm just like, yo, this is too much. This is wild. And I start walking back towards the ropes to step back over. And I look back at this fella, and now he's approaching, like coming right in my direction, following me. I'm just like, yo, this is wild. Shortly after that, we're continuing the tour of the ruins. And then it was, I don't know the video game, but it was like all of a sudden I felt as if I was in the viewpoint of like a Mayan king who must have, been a part of the building of these ruins, because it was like one by one. I was like, I feel like that would be the king's hut. It like overlooks the village and it's got the seaside views. And it was just like I watched them just like hyper build. And then like as I rotate and look at more buildings, the exact it was like I'm like in the viewpoint of this Mayan king. And shortly after that, a swim in the sea and lunch. And we're sitting at lunch and we just had ordered and I just start crying. And my friend's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. She's like, well, what do you mean you're crying? And I was like, I'm finally home. She's like, what do you mean you've been, here for 3 days? Like, I've been at the hostel longer than you, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't know. I'm finally home. Like, I have to move here. There's something here. There's this pool. There's this energy that I need to be here. And I followed that. For some time, I was in Northern California currently, growing pot and making fairly good money. Most I had at that point, even currently, it was like my best, most lucrative position, and I just knew that something better was for me here. And I kept hearing this call, like, your real life starts here. Your real life starts here. Your real life starts here. And I never really understood what that meant. I just, again, I was partying, I was having fun, so I just kept that vibe. I go back, I quit the job, move a bunch of things around, and I take my savings and I pop down here. Well, I end up back in the hostel and I find myself starting to fall back into those same patterns again of partying. And I'm like, wait a second, you're here to like live. This is not just like vacation party mode. So I ended up finding a house and making that happen. But I continued to use substances. This one was actually ketamine at the time. I was getting pretty deep into that, and just things weren't necessarily functioning well. And I just was out one night and I had this like another download from Tulum, and it says on the way back, I'm driving, and it just says, if you're going to achieve anything in this world that you are out to achieve, you need to get sober now. My body just auditorily just fuck, 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 fuck. I start punching the steering wheel. I pull back into my apartment at the time and just start bawling, bawling, crying, bawling, crying, bawling, crying. And yeah, once I gathered myself, got out of the vehicle, I realized I didn't put it in park and I was in the middle of the street. And right before that, at the bar I was at, I truly felt like as if I was in an intervention. People were around and I was in this like soft Tulum, very gentle intervention. So I think that feeling of feeling like I was in an intervention and that kind of calling, I was feeling this guilt, this remorse, like subconsciously about abusing these substances, right? Like partying at this fashion. I was like, oh, well, I'm not drinking. Like I can use this. I'm doing all right. And this place kind of showed me that that necessarily wasn't the path. So shortly after that call, December 2023, I was offered a position at a men's retreat, went and did a lot of deep shadow work, and have just been kind of riding this like sobriety train ever since then. And I think that's what it meant by your real life starts, like your real life begins.
Like a new version of you.
Yeah, exactly. Like this rebirth of the old form. And that's why I say Stephen Esteban, the avatar. Like Esteban is the form. Well, it's not only the Spanish version of Stephen, however, it's like the new form, right? Like kind of stripping the identity of Stephen, or Steve-O, as a lot of people had known. Steve-O is this party guy just pushing everything to the limits, more, 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 more. There was never like a point where it needed to seize, right? It was always like, how deep, how far can I take this? And I've been pretty blessed and fortunate to probably get pretty close to some gnarly experiences, but just something knowing that I need to calm it down, but always falling back into those same cycles in another fashion or another. So
Beautiful. So, what does personal empowerment mean to you in your words?
personal empowerment. Being a man of your word, living in integrity, being at service, doing the things that you know you need to do to better oneself, to take care of your body, your mind, and your soul. And those can be different for everyone, but the answers reside within each of us, what we need to do in order to empower ourselves. You can look around, there's a lot of people doing a lot of great things. And I think it's important to try different aspects, right? And see which resonate with you. However, you've got to stick with those ones that resonate with you. And being that we're energetical, evolving beings, something that once may have not have resonated with you and made you feel empowered and whole and whatever, may at this current, phase of your journey. So constantly switching your perspective, trying, and then just continually pushing forward to take care of the mind, body, and soul and empower oneself.
Yeah, beautiful.
Mm.
Yeah, I love to say, like, learning, constantly being in a state of openness to learn, readiness to let go of what was, readiness to shift the perspective from what you thought once was like, it's this way,
Yeah.
to something new, and becoming aware. It's the first step in every change, is becoming aware of something. From awareness, you can start to use the powerful tool of choice. And then you choose and discern where you go.
I really like that.
In the mind and in the physical as well. Choices here and here. Yeah.
That's beautiful. I have a question. So you were just touching on saying that, having the openness, the perspective to have a shift in, something that was very concrete once. Do you have anything that's definitive that you could share that would be an example of that? Something that you used to believe to be so true now that you no longer do?
So many. I mean, like, people here that have watched any of my stuff before will definitely know of some.
Okay, okay.
But yeah, there's I think one of the biggest shifts that I often recognize as a pivotal moment for me was something like, was when I used to smoke cigarettes, nicotine, and I was like, I'm addicted to nicotine. And then at some point I realized, I was like, I'm not addicted to nicotine. I'm actually just choosing to smoke consistently, habitually.
Yes.
So that was one good little shift that I found for me.
That's beautiful.
So what's one challenge you had to overcome that shaped your inner strength?
Ooh, well, I think I kind of just shift. So like sobriety, definitely would be getting sober. Having partied and tried most everything, with an exception of a few big dogs. I realized that that's something I did consistently. It was always with me, probably from 15 years old to a couple years ago, 38. Really consistently partying. So it's like making that shift and getting sober wasn't easy. Had some very dark kind of sober moments, but within that, there's light on the other side for realizations, having like certain realizations, like, oh shit, really being able to sit with yourself and understand that, or at least for my instance, what I was using, pot, alcohol, other substances for, was I was running from myself. I was running from who I'm meant to be, who I'm supposed to be, the highest vibration of me, my Christed being. I didn't apparently want to spend time with them. I don't know if it was like a subconscious thing, like I enjoyed doing those things until I didn't. But I really feel as if having that perspective of, oh shit, like I've been running. It doesn't matter what the feeling that arises. I ran from all of my feelings. Happiness, joy, oh, let's celebrate, right? Oh man, I'm sad. Well, I better, you know what I mean? Use something. Oh, like I'm angry. Well, I better smoke weed to calm down. Like whatever it was, there was always a outside remedy besides just feeling into self and really just feeling and knowing that I don't necessarily have to attach myself to this feeling. That it's okay for me just to sit with the feeling, observe it, and not really give it much of my focus or attention. Just allow it to be and go, you know what? All right, good. You know, something really great, like that's cool. You know, something bad, it's like, or adverse, right? Like, okay, how are we going to solve this?
Yeah.
Take some time and solve it. There's no need to stress out. Like, so it's just the overcoming, escaping my feelings.
So often in life we have the drives, which is running away from pain
Mm,
and towards pleasure.
mm,
And if you're running towards pleasure, you're always running away from pain. And if you're running away from pain, you're always running towards pleasure.
mm,
And yeah, we often, especially for me, used to use substances to do that.
mm,
And still times I do, on like a real lesser sense of like I ate food because there's a pain of not having food. You know,
mm,
so like there's always these things in our lives, but coming back to like introducing what feels good to us, whether it's the new tool that allows us to sit and process that emotion, to sit with that pain,
mm,
acknowledge that pain, but not necessarily be disempowered by that pain, to actually stand not against that pain, but
mm,
just stand up strong and be like, you know what? I have the power here to
mm.
observe you, to choose what I do here with this.
Absolutely.
And when life feels overwhelming, what's your go-to way of coming back to your power?
Oof. Currently back on it, man. Overwhelmed. Meditation's a great practice for feeling overwhelmed for me. Um, Breath work, multiple forms of meditation and breath work. I find running or jogging to be a form of both because I'm forced to breathe at a different rate, you know. And then even in the midst of a run, being able to play with your breath, you know, like I'm going to do nose breathing while I'm running, or if you almost do, if you're familiar with box breathing, right? So do like that, but with your steps. So it's like I'm gonna breathe in, you know, and then try to hold it. I think you'll really like play it, but like you'll find that sense of that the overwhelmed, right? Can be a lot less challenging with like certain tools and practices. Also, I think like a clean diet is important too, because I think a lot of processed things get into our system and really seem to inhibit focus, judgment, and then
Sure.
so finding a good spiritual practice, exercise, and then just taking care of like ultimately the temple, like drinking, staying hydrated, and eating
So the main
plenty of good
tool
food.
is, you would say, meditation.
The main tool, probably number one, for feeling overwhelmed, yeah, just pause. Just
Pause.
literally pause. Stop. If you start to feel overwhelmed, just stop. Stop everything. Put everything down and just go sit and breathe
Well,
and be.
overwhelm is so associated with usually future or past for me, which is also in the present, but it's like if you're overwhelmed, you're playing a scenario of what might happen or
Mm,
what has happened and creating a narrative or a meaning around that experience
mm,
that then creates the emotion of the overwhelm. So that pause pulls you back. It's like, oh, I'm alive. No, because the inner child, inner feminine's like, oh, okay, we're good,
yeah.
we got this.
I like that. Yeah, it definitely gives you that recalibration, right?
And how do you keep your vision alive when fear or doubt creeps in?
Oof. Mm. Do you see right there, comfort and fear? Show you guys. Um, just keep going. Stop looking externally. Stop looking at, you know, too far ahead, essentially, the future. Stop looking at what Eric has, Tim has, Stacy has, this, that, the other. What can you do right now? What can you do to further yourself, to better yourself today in this moment? What decisions can you make that are going to help you get to this thing that's bringing you that burden?
Mm.
You know, what are the little steps? Like, can we break it down and incrementally, day in, day out, make little baby steps that eventually this baby step's going to turn into a leap?
It's feeling like you're gaining little bits of progress
Absolutely.
and also just continuing to believe in yourself, would you say?
Absolutely. I think the mind is a beautiful it's the most powerful tool we have, and self-doubt creeps in, right? And we
Mm-hmm.
start to believe that self-doubt. I will tell you, I've been in many different shapes. I've been like lean 175, just pure shredded, and I've been as heavy as I think 243. Most recently, I was at back in the States at 209 and change. And with that 209 and change started to come self-doubt. But I really do recall a moment here, actually, in the mirror back here, where I was in really lean, good shape again, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I saw myself starting to let it go. And I looked at myself and I feel fat. And that, me telling myself that, not looking and saying, damn, dude, you're still jacked, you're shredded, you're the fucking man. That one time of me telling I'm fat, a couple weeks before I went back to the States, I'm back in the States. What did I do? I got like fat, dude. Literally got fat because I allowed one little thought of self-doubt creep in and I verbally spoke it to myself. And to change that, as you mentioned, belief, just start believing you already have. Every time I've been in those phenomenal, really like great shapes, it started in the mirror. It
Mm-hmm.
started with me looking at myself in my current form and going, and visualizing a different me, telling myself literally in the mirror, I love you, and you're jacked, you're
Mm-hmm.
ripped, you got big shoulders, you got a big chest, your abs,
What
whatever it
makes
would be.
you what makes you believe that you can? Because I've noticed often it's like a sense of you have this project, you have this vision for your body, for your life, to reach your goals.
Sorry,
That's right.
silence.
Might be me too. Um, so what actually how can you tell yourself that you can do it? Like what makes you feel like you can do it?
Just knowing that nothing is impossible. The word impossible in itself is I'm possible. So when you, I love to say this one little thing, like when you perceive it and you believe it and you actually believe it. You can't just perceive it and, oh yeah, that's true. Like when you perceive it and you fucking believe it and own that belief, you can achieve it.
Mm-hmm.
And not everything's achieved overnight. I think all too often in our current society, we love instant gratification. What's the quick fix? Where's the pill that can fix that, this and that? It's not realistic. Real solid change takes time. Um, and again, just breaking it down into baby steps, just doing a little bit each day to propel yourself in that direction. And know that setbacks will and do happen. And that's okay, because that's a part of the journey.
Mm-hmm.
But just using those setbacks as momentum to fuel you for the next time and just rise stronger each time. And try to not allow your setbacks to be as lengthy or long. When you're realizing you're having a setback and you're in that kind of stagnant space or regression space, just pull yourself out as fast as you can and start doing the things that you know you need to do in order to propel yourself
Mm-hmm.
forward.
Yeah. And I would say that anything's possible with commitment.
Mm.
Like, because without it is when it becomes less possible. When you're wanting to achieve the thing and other people are achieving it in less time, and then you start seeing that and whatever you're wanting to achieve, You know, you might see that in your reality right now. And so there's a thing of like, is it meant for you? Is it meant for me? And you question that. And in questioning that, there's less commitment there. And with that less commitment becomes less action, becomes less belief. And as we just discussed, the less belief you have in something, the less you're embodying it, the less you're being it.
Ooh.
And so that is going to slow your timeline down.
Absolutely.
In my eyes.
That's good words, man. Well
Yeah.
spoken. I like that.
So, if you could leave listeners with one truth about their power, what would it be?
One truth about your power. Stand in and own it. Know that you're possible. You are possible to live the life that you want to live. Those deep underlying desires, it's possible. Don't get stuck up with comfort, you know, same people, same things, even relationships, man. There's a lot of toxicity and different things in life. Like, and if you're ready to change, if you desire a change, anything that you want is possible. Oh, I can't do it. I'm too old. I hear excuses a lot, right? I'm too old, or this caught up to me, or that. But it's like, stop making excuses and find solutions. Like, you can have it. Whatever that is, you can have it. If you want it, believe it, and commit to that belief.
And often I like to say that your power, that connected to everything, in a sense of being connected to everything, the divine power, God power, whatever label you want to give it to, it's in you too. It's part of you. And so your power is truly limitless. And yet we place limits because it's beautiful. So whatever we're not achieving yet, there are reasons and choices, there are doubts, there are limitations imposed, also because that's what we've chosen. Because a part of us, as you said, wants to stay in comfort, wants to stay comfortable, wants to stay at home sitting on the couch rather than traveling to the new country, wants to stay in that job that they don't want to stay in, wants to stay in the relationship that they don't want to stay in. It's comfortable. And to break through that, or to just melt that fear away, we just take action towards it. We just move through it. We recognize that we're the ones blocking ourselves. And in that acknowledgement, less resistance. Because in fighting oneself, we create something, we give what we're fighting the power. But in retrieving that power, in not being afraid of the spider, in whatever it is, often the spider will run away. Tapping into that energy of confidence. And knowing that you're exactly where you chose to be.
That's facts. That's
based
facts.
on all the decisions, all the programming, all everything.
Isn't that the truth? That is the truth.
Even if you look at it on the subconscious, conscious level, even if we're not consciously where we think we want to be,
You're here because you chose to be.
but on a subconscious level, on a level that is part of the divine, part of God that is seeing everything, you're exactly where the divine part of you chose to be.
Yeah. All the decisions, all the actions, man. They got us here. And don't give your power away, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to touch on that. I feel a lot of us
Yeah.
give our power to other people, to other things. Who or what have you allowed to take your power? Identify that. Ask yourself that. Figure that out. And then reclaim it. It's yours to have, no one else's.
100%. What part of your mind as well are you giving that power? Which is tapping into the doubt piece we covered, which is like, I want to achieve this. No, you can't.
Yeah.
Are you going to give that the power, or are you just going to be like, you're just a thought?
Right.
You're not, like, I don't need to listen to you. I have 1,000 thoughts. Do I listen to all of them? No, you only listen to the ones that you think might be true.
Yeah.
And yeah, 100%. Reclaiming that power is such an important piece, and then re-giving that power. I
Yeah.
find like reclaiming is beautiful, but then also acknowledging where you give that power. So like,
Yeah.
it might be in a relationship, because for me, love is giving power. If
Absolutely.
you love something, often you'll step in front of a train figuratively, not figuratively, to protect that person,
Absolutely.
that thing, that pet, that whatever it is.
Mm.
That is the power. You've given them that power to move you, which is beautiful when it's given from a state of awareness, again, being the key piece.
Yeah.
Again, with things like, we'll take talking about medicines before,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and how like we place the power in the medicine, and we consume it, and we have this journey with it. It's like, it's beautiful, even in substances like drinking, all those things.
Yeah.
It's beautiful to take your power back. Nicotine thing I was talking about before, where
Yeah.
like, I'm addicted to it. Okay, so you take your power back. You realize you're not addicted to it. You can calm yourself down. You don't get anxious with that. You know, you can do all the things you thought you needed it for. So you take your power back, and then you give it back, if you so wish, from a place of love, which is the people that go, oh, you know what? I might smoke a cigarette, and then they just have that for the year, maybe, like, you know, like whatever, just as an experience, like a moment of love.
Just enjoying it once again, perhaps.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. This is fun.
And yeah, I'm wishing you the most empowered, beautiful journey in your life. Wherever you go, wherever you do, know that you are so special, you are so beautiful, just as you are, and you really don't know the true power that you hold. Never. We're always discovering more and more power. And in any moment, if you feel like something outside of you has the power, just remember that you truly have the power. You can shift your mindset, you can shift your place, you have a choice in every moment, what thoughts you listen to, all of it.